Okay. So first, I just want you to introduce yourself to the people and tell them where they can find you. And then we'll get into these questions.
Okay. My name is Keidra Michell. I am the CEO, owner of Universe Magic by Keidra Sade. It is a spiritual, I'm still working on the name of the brand, but it's basically spiritual enlightenment. I don't like to just put it as just for women, but it is based on women empowerment and healing because we are the source. So if we can heal, then we can help other people heal, or help heal men or uplift men as well. Um, I live in Memphis, Tennessee, and you can find me on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram
As
as Universe Magic by Keidra Sade or just Keidra Sade.
okay, cool. So y'all go check her out. I'm gonna have you say this again at the end. But y'all go check her out. I really enjoy her TikToks and her Facebook presence the most. I really don't see you that much on Instagram. I don't know if it's just an algorithm thing.
I rarely post. I made another page. It's just Keidra Sade where I'm starting over. I didn't follow anybody. I think I follow my husband, and then I'm just like, if people follow it, cool. If not, then it'll just be a page for me.
Okay. But yeah, I definitely enjoy your TikToks. You're always putting out good messages. So you guys make sure you follow her on TikTok. And she goes live and stuff on Facebook. So if you want more hands-on like access, follow her on Facebook. All right, so I'm gonna ask you a whole bunch of different questions about your spiritual journey and spiritual business and relationships. And our conversation may go in some different directions, which is cool with me. But all that I ask is just that you openly answer everything. And if there is anything that you feel weird about answering, you don't have to answer. But I would like to know why, because none of these questions are really invasive, but they are spiritual. And sometimes spiritual things can be sacred just to us. So, okay, first things first, how did you get started on your spiritual journey?
Oh, that's a confusing question because I feel like I've always been on it, but I never knew I was on it, if that makes sense. It's just certain things that I do. I was always drawn to like crystals and rocks and stuff as a kid, or just as a kid using magic and then being told that it's demonic. So I've always been that kid that I never wanted to do anything wrong or have people to say something against what I was doing. But I feel like it tapped in during, I want to say 2019, 2020, where I felt like I was working at this job and I was in this place where I didn't want to work for other people. I knew that I wanted to work for myself. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to be able to have that boss energy, like work from my phone and make money just by breathing pretty much. But I didn't see that it was possible for me. So when I was working 9 to 5, I couldn't find motivation to get up and go. It was like the same thing over repetitive, and it's like trying a hamster on a wheel where you trying to go somewhere, but they keep shutting you down, or you don't have these qualifications, you don't have this. And I'm the type of person that I'm super hands-on. You don't have to show me but maybe about 2 or 3 times and I'm gonna get it, versus telling me I gotta go through this training or have to go to school for all these years. Just show me what to do and I got it. Like all of that other stuff, I'll learn it along the way. I'm gonna learn it along the way type person. So I started to get like really, really depressed and not just, just no motivation. I'm not making the money I want to make and I'm working for these people, but it's not fulfilling for me. So I'm a talker, so sorry.
No, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I used to always just write down stuff. For one, manifestation or manifesting, that was something that came up that just was sticking to me. That's why I'm so big on it, because I've always wrote down what I wanted, even as a kid. I always, if it was something, you remember those little pocket diaries, the little pink ones? I wanted one.
Mhm.
I always say, like, I'm gonna get it. I want it, I want it, I want it. And I got it. But what I noticed within myself was I always wanted something. And once I got it, I didn't want it no more. It was like,
Yep.
okay,
Be-
I see what it does. It's cool, but so for the longest, I thought that I was always punished for that, because why you ask for these things and then you get it, you don't appreciate it. It's curious about what it is, but when I actually get it, it's not what I thought it would be, or
Mhm.
mostly commercials, you'll see how something works on a commercial, and then when you get it, it's nothing like the commercial. So like disappointment and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that goes again. That's why I always tell people, like, you should really focus on your childhood with healing, because that's where a lot of your characteristics start as an adult. And lately, I've been seeing people's inner child really screaming. It's like, oh,
Yes.
tame it, give it a pacifier or something, do
Yes.
something.
Yes. Yes.
But so after that, I worked at this other job, and it was something more interesting. It was in tech, and I love the idea of being a tech girl. I love working with computers. I love learning how things work, how behind the scenes, not just what you see, but how does it function? Like, how does this work? What does this? Like, so when I was at this job and I wanted to become a tech, the path was open for me. Like, they made it so easy. You go through this, we have training, we'll get you this. So that's what I was working to. I took classes, I went on Udemy for certifications, like doing everything that I needed to do to get this position. And COVID hit. So there's these opportunities, and the position that I was in was so draining because it was call center. I don't like call center. I always got jobs where I know I didn't want to do it, but I had this mindset, like, you got to do something, like you got to make some money. You can't just be sitting around. I'm married and my husband is a wonderful and great provider, but I don't want to be the type of woman that don't make her own money or not doing something. So it was not an option for me to quit my job. So the more and more they allowed me to go home, like to work from home. It wasn't the job, it was the job position, I guess, because when you're on calls back to back to back and you're trying to figure out people's problems, and then you have all of these cues or these what do you call it? What is the word? Macros that you have to stick by, and you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't upset the customer, even though the customer is being foolish. But you can't. So it's draining because you're trying to save the business money when really you can just tell them straightforward what it is, but you gotta kiss their tail because they're the customer. I don't like doing that. I'm a Virgo. I don't like that. I want to tell you what it is, and I want you out of my face once we're so it was a struggle for me being in that position. And they said, okay, so it started back up. They was like, okay, well, you just take this certification, you take this test, you can still get the job without the test. But me being a Virgo, I want to be like, I know what I know, and here's my credentials on what I know.
Right.
I was ready to take this test. And I knew it was a spiritual thing at this point, because at this point, I started to meet you. I started to meet Ayana. Like, I was so mesmerized by how y'all was into y'all. Like, I'm like, I want that energy. Like, it just felt like I wanted to be a part of it. Like, I wanted to be my own self and not what everybody else was doing. Or
Right.
do what I genuinely wanted to do, what I felt drawn to do, without the judgment of people saying, oh, you shouldn't do that, or that's that. So I remember getting a reading. I always been against readings because so it was demonic and this and that. But I got to a point to where I could no longer turn my way or not experience or, follow my curiosity instead of just blocking it out. So I got a reading from Ayana, and I was like, it was so spot on. Like, how does she know me? and then even after that, I was like, well, that could apply to anything. Like, that doesn't mean that's what it is. So I started doing that. After that, it was like, at this point, everybody was doing tarot. It was like all of these different messages that was resonating. I was like, something is telling me. So I just started I was going through so much mentally that I just started isolating myself. Like, I would be in my closet and I just literally isolate myself from everybody in the house. I would cry. I would talk to myself. I would laugh. It's just, it started to bring something out of me. So I started to do the tarot. I was like, let me see if I could do it. Because Ayana said something. She was like, you may even do tarot. And I was like, got me some cards. And I was like, wait a minute. I started testing them on other people just to see. And every time, like, nobody, I don't know if people are just saying, like, yeah, that resonates. But I have not had anybody to tell me that I was wrong. And that's when I start to have imposter syndrome, because I can't be right 100% of the time. Or even when people was like, no, that doesn't resonate, they literally will come back. I had people come back a year and tell me, girl, you was right.
Yeah.
So that was just crazy. And they don't tell me anything. Nobody gives me a full story, nothing. I just shuffle them cards. I go in, I tell them what I feel, what I see. They say yay, nay, or, I tell them write it down. But at the same time, I started to realize that I'm helping all of these other people. Like, when I first started doing it, money was booming. Like, before I quit my job, because I was mentally depressed. Like, it was bad. It was a bad depression. And I told my husband, I was like, I don't want to quit my job, because, you always told, don't quit your job, don't do this, that. But I felt like I really, really needed to. Like, the minute I sent that email, I felt this huge weight off of my shoulders. But I said a prayer to God, and I was like, God, I love making money. I love making my own money. And I think there I was making maybe like close to $700 a week. So I was like, I don't want too much, God. If I work for myself, I want to at least make that much. That way, things are still flowing. And it did. I was making more than that. And I was like doing jewelry and boxes, and everything was booming. And then my husband was like, I want to move back to Memphis. And I'm like, oh, we good. We moved 2021. It was like spirit just turned my money flow wheel just off. And at that point, I'm like, what did I do wrong? And instead of it being fun, it felt like work, because now I need money. Like, I need you to book. I need these people to do this. And it was just, I'm still recovering. Right. It has not picked up the way, but I'm doing different things, because I'm now learning that tarot was just for me to open myself up to spirituality. But I don't think that's what I'm doing now. I feel like that's my purpose. I want to do like conference shows, and conference. Yeah, it's a conference show. It's conference talks. I don't know. But I just want people to learn how to heal. I don't want to be like, oh, I can heal you. I want to teach you how to heal yourself, because I'm lazy. Like, I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to take you to the water, but I can't make you drink it type of person. I can give you X, Y, Z, but it's for you to figure it out on your own.
Yes. I love that, because I really feel like so many people now are spiritual because it's trendy, and they really use like spiritual practitioners as like a coping mechanism. And on one hand, it's like, I'm here to help you cope. I'm here to bring you some clarity, give you guidance, give you some peace. But me personally, I don't want to be a symptom reliever. Like, I don't want to be a pill. I want to encourage you and empower you to really do the work so that you don't have to keep going through the same stuff over and over again. So you
Mhm.
don't have to come to me asking me about this man that don't want you. So you don't have to keep coming to me talking to me about this job that you hate, you know. But find that a lot of people, they want somebody who's going to do the work for them. The thing about spirituality, nobody else can do the work for you. You
Exactly.
have to be work yourself. So it's interesting that you said that, you kind of, your spiritual journey has always been working in the background of your life, but specifically around 2019, 2020, and I feel like this happened on a collective level, things
Mhm.
just started to align, like synchronicity started to happen and things open up to where you're like, okay, I'm gonna start implementing some of this stuff that I've been learning along the way and the things that I feel like I don't know enough about. I'm gonna go ahead and sharpen my knife, I'm gonna learn more. I'm gonna research, I'm gonna add to my wealth of knowledge. And you were able to do that very quickly with that Virgo energy and expand it and help other people. But in the midst of that, spirit had to redirect you back to yourself. And so
Mhm.
that's probably why
We
when
cry.
you move,
So,
probably why when you move, things slow down because spirit was like, look, if I just keep on showing you expansion, 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 you're not going to have time to sit with any
no growth.
process. Right. You can't grow like that. So it's like you're going to be out here trying to help other people. And in the inside, you're going to be dying. You can't do that. So it makes sense what you said. And right now, even though I'm sure you're waiting for like the next boom in your business, spirit is putting your energy in other places. I feel like, this is just me talking intuitively,
Yeah,
but I
I feel
really feel I feel like spirit is just really working to put you into places where you can collaborate more so that you're not working by yourself so much. Because when you're in the house and you're just by yourself and you're putting out these products and you're making this content, like it's easy to just get lost in that and you forget like the bigger picture of your intentions. Whereas when you're working with other people and you're collaborating, you're outside, like literally connecting, um it brings you back to center, like back to grounding, back to your heart. And I feel like that's what's happening for you right now. You're being pushed back to center, pushed back to grounding, pushed back into your heart. So it may feel
it's like
overwhelming.
every time you ever watch Chucky said, I'll be back, I'll always come back, but dying
Yeah,
sucks. And I'm like, yeah, oh my God.
yeah, it feels overwhelming because it's just like, oh, I gotta go through this grief again, I gotta go through all this shedding again, I thought I did this, but it's a never ending process. So I think you're in a good spot because you're aware of it. And that's the hardest part. Because a lot of spiritual practitioners, we just become so far removed. We don't even realize that we need to ground. We don't realize that we need to get back into our hearts because we're so up here. We're trying to evolve past all this shit. The truth though is you can't, because you're still human at the end of the day. So you have to just learn how to integrate it.
Mhm.
And that's like a sobering realization because it's like, damn, I thought I found the cheat code, and low key I did because it made things better for me. But I also kind of fucked it up because now I know all this stuff. And I have to apply it. I have to use this wisdom. I can't just do what I used to always do. And spirit is gonna punish me every time I think I can just go back into those old patterns. So it's just like a catch-22. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
When I get to that point to where I feel like I'm about to break, or I can't. My biggest thing was I'm a crier, and I now see my crying as strength. But I used to feel, how when you they'll say like, God already working it out, so why are you crying? So at that point, if I used to feel like if I cry, then I'm being ungrateful, because why are you crying? Like, it's working out, you got what you wanted. But now I realize that I should cry, because that is release. Like, I'm releasing all of that tension, everything like that I'm holding on to, because I'm expecting something to happen, and I'm reaching these different levels, because I'm actually in a movie. Like, I'm in a movie that's getting ready to start out. And I asked God, I said, God, I need something to where, like, I'm posting my stuff, I'm posting content. You hear people saying you got to stay consistent. I'm like, I'm consistent every day. I have a word, what is it? OneNote, and it has so much stuff to where I document, I label it, real Virgo organized stuff. I'm like, God, I'm doing the work. It's not like I'm just sitting on the couch not doing anything. I'm sitting here and I'm doing stuff. I'm teaching people call me, and I was like, I'm doing it. But when I post, it'll get like 1 or 2 likes. Now, if I post a selfie of myself, that'll get a lot of likes. But if I'm posting my business stuff, it's crickets. So what am I missing? So I talked to him, I was like, how can I expand? Like, I don't know who to talk to. I don't know who to trust. And I started getting a lot of messages that say, like, don't start talking to God and telling him what you want, but don't tell it to other people. They'll become to you. And that's literally what's been happening. So me to tell him, like, I want to expand. I want people to see me. And for me to get this role in this movie, not just a role, but my face is on the cover, like,
Yeah,
everybody's gonna see me. So,
literally,
yeah.
everybody's gonna see you.
And even with the movie, it's about women empowerment. It's about relationships, be like women not depending on men, being about your business. And that's me. Like, it's like God was like, wrapped it in a bow, rip me out the plastic. I've been acting brand new. So to answer your question, I feel as though I really tapped into my spirituality between 2019 and 2020, which makes sense because it's like 2020 vision, like your eyes are clear, like it's clear now.
Yep. I love that. I love that. And you're absolutely right. Like, I have found in my journey that spirit works in my favor the most when I am quiet, when I'm talking to God and God only about the things that I'm doing, and when I'm clear. In clarity, it takes a lot of work because it's so many distractions. But you said something, you said, you'll post yourself and you get like 50 likes, and then you post about your business and it's like crickets. And, that's so true, because I have that same problem. But for me, I kind of figured out that just based on my astrological profile, people want to see me. Like, they care about my business because that's what I do, but they just want to see me. They want to see my vulnerability. They want to see what I'm doing. They want, like, but I'm not, like, I'm a Scorpio rising. Like, I'm not like, I'm very private. Like, I come to work on social media and get off, and that's it. Like, I don't want people in my business. I don't want to be filming every aspect of my life. I don't even want to record content every day because I don't like being on camera. But when I do like, when I'm doing a live and I'm just talking about whatever, and then I might start crying, like, that gets like the most traction. Or when I'm just talking about like my wife or showing her, it gets the most traction, and I get the most clients from stuff like that. And it's like, I won't even be talking about like products or services. I'm just talking like in general. I don't know if it's like a relatability factor,
Yeah.
or if just that people feel like you're more accessible, but they just want to see your vulnerability. And when you have a spiritual business and you're promoting your spiritual products and services, it's hard to put the vulnerability in there because you're offering people healing, essentially, or a road, a pathway to healing, right?
Mhm.
So it's just like you're serious. Like it's not no like I'm about to come play with you and we're gonna keep like let's do this work.
And now
That
I'll people get your pen out and your notebook because you're gonna need to
yes. Yes. So I think like that can be intimidating to some people because they know that they're not ready to do the work, even though they know they need the work.
Mhm.
So it's easier for them to come when you present something that's more lighthearted or that's just basic, even though you're not coming from, you might just be doing something random like laughing, right? And you post a picture of yourself laughing and somebody says, oh my God, your smile is so inspiring. And then the next thing you know, they're messaging you like, girl, I need a reading and this is what's going on with me and da 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 da. Like just little things like that. But you post, I need to make $200 today and these are
And
my reading specials, and it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make any sense, but then it makes sense at the same time.
I honestly be wanting to make posts like that, but another thing that I struggle with is I'm super independent and I do not, I'm probably getting teary-eyed again, but I do not like asking for help. And I feel like that's another thing that spirit is putting me through. They put me in a position to where I have to ask people, but I want to make my money and be private. Like, I don't want to hear about nobody else's business. I don't want to tell you my business. I just want to be in your company when I want to be in your company. Like, hey, you're cool. And I want to leave. Like, I don't want to ask you anything, ask you for anything. But if I can work for it, I'm cool. Like I can work. Like I can, if I'm making money, if I see money coming in and I gotta find the hours, I pick the kids up late from school if I, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna get this extra hour, but and that's been that way ever since I became a mom at like 19 and I was staying with my dad and I was like, I feel like I have a baby. I feel like I should be on my own. Like I just really wanted that. I'm 19 or I'm 20, 19, 20, but I got my own place. I have my own place. I have my own car. I'm working hours. They offer overtime. Oh, I'm getting it. So from that point all the way up until I got married, it was a whole shift because my husband's military. So we moved to San Diego. And it was a whole shift. I didn't have to work. I didn't have to do anything. And that was something that I wanted to experience as well. I was like, I wonder what it feels like to just be pregnant and at home, not having to get up and go to work and all of that stuff, because I didn't get to experience it with my first son. His father was killed when I was 6 months. So it was on how I took it, how, everybody healed differently. It was like, I'm by myself. Like I have to do this by myself, even though I had help, I had a lot of support. But in my mind, it was just extra. Yeah, it's like if you help me out, cool. I'm not really gonna ask you for help. I'm gonna figure it out on my own. But if I need your help, if I ask you for help, that means I really need it. I really, really need it. So a lot of that is ego and pride that I had to learn as well. But it's also, when people help you, you got to hear stuff. Like you hear stuff from somebody else, like so-and-so said, like, you don't want to hear that. Like, what? So it's just a lot of growing and allowing the changes because I love being a housewife, but I did not like being a housewife who wasn't making her own money. No matter how much he did, it's just a comfort for me, like a security to know that I can take care of myself. And then after I had my second child, we moved to Texas. And then at that point, I was like, no, we were still in San Diego. I found a work from home job. Again, this time, I wasn't thinking about manifestation. I was just in a place where I was talking to God, like, hey, I want to work. I want to make my own money. And then I got this work from home job. I told him, I was like, my son, he got to go to daycare or he's home with me. So I need something that I could do from home right fast, like put him in a nap, do this. And I got this job It was a financial aid company. I didn't have to have any experience. They threw me to the wolves in this little chat group, say, these people teach you. I was on that job. No, only financial aid history that I had was applying for financial aid for college. That was it. I started that job in 2014. By 2015, I got paid raises and in a team lead position. But then that job was perfect. But again, it was on the phones, but I seen that they had a position where you do emails and you don't have to be on the phone. You can just send an email and be done. They told me I had to have a degree. I'm like, I don't need a degree for this. I don't need a degree to send emails.
Going already. What do you mean?
Right. So that, and then like the pay, they would pay us once a month, but sometimes it'll be 3 months. And that plays on your mental because I'm making good money. When I get paid, my checks is $2,000, $3,000, but I gotta wait so long to get it. So we moved to Texas. I was still working that job. And at this point, I had already experienced being married. And it's a 2-income household at this point. It's beautiful. I love it, right? It started slowing down. And I wasn't making as much. I was literally sitting at the desk for hours and they paid by the call. So I would get like maybe 3 calls and it was probably like $2 a call. So I'm doing all these hours and I'm only making Yes. So I was like, okay, I need something else. This ain't working. So me and my mother-in-law, we were out and we walk in the Stride Right to get the kids some shoes. And this lady was like, I like your energy. I want to hire you. Do you mind working? And in my mind, I'm like, part-time, sure, this could be a breeze. It's just shoes. What hard work did you have to do? Well, that only lasted for so long. I'm not really, I'm a people person, but not really. Like those kids, they were getting on my nerve. Like, I gotta be in here with your kids, then I gotta go home to my kids. Then, it was just, I didn't want to do it no more. So I started doing hair. I was doing hair. And I was working there. So, I'm in my bag, what they say at this point, like I'm doing hair, working at this job part-time. But then like I didn't even want to do hair anymore. It was like, I only want to do stuff when I feel the energy to do it. If I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. It's hard for me to make myself do something I don't want to do.
You know what's funny though? A lot of people don't talk about this, but I always say this when I'm talking about astrology. Because my Jupiter is in Virgo, and I feel like for Virgos specifically, like if you're a Virgo sun, Virgo Jupiter, Virgo rising, a huge part of your spiritual journey is going to be disconnecting, or not disconnecting, but connecting your spiritual work with your job. And the reason for that is because Virgo is ruled by the 6th house. The 6th house is service energy. How are you being of service? How are you healing? How are you improving the health of the collective? Essentially is what that energy speaks to. So as a Virgo, when you're in a position where you don't feel useful anymore, or you don't have any passion behind it, so you know that you're not putting your all into it, you're going to immediately shut down and not want to do it. And sometimes that works in your favor because it allows you to make space for things that actually are for you. Other times it can manifest as self-sabotage because you'll literally be checked out of something that you agreed to be checked into. And I think a lot of Virgos struggle with that, both Virgo rising, Virgo sun, and people who have Jupiter in Virgo, or if you have your 6th house in Virgo, you may struggle with this as well. I feel like that's like a big thing. Like you may find like if you don't, first of all, it takes some time to even find your passion if it's not nurtured in you as a child with anybody. But with this Virgo energy specifically, you will literally drive yourself crazy jumping from thing to thing to thing until you feel like home. And then when you find that home feeling, you get so comfortable, it's hard to just go outside of that, but you're also you don't want to become stagnant because Virgo energy just always looking for the next thing to accomplish. So it's kind of like
Training in itself.
yeah, it's kind of draining because it puts you into like this prison
Yeah.
of like, what am I, how am I reinventing myself next? What am I becoming next? How am I evolving next? How am I improving the collective next? It's hard to stop.
Yes, I feel like I can do a lot of things, and the crazy part is, at one point I feel like that's my passion. Like, oh yes, I can do this, and then it's like the wheel starts turning. It's like, oh no, it's time to find something else. But you try to hold on to it because it's like, no, I don't want to find it. I want to find something that sticks, and that goes into my childhood because I moved from school to school to school, and it's like it's playing into my adulthood, but not with school, but with jobs and career. And it's like, I signed up for this. You trying to tell me that I I signed up for this.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like an interesting just observation that I've seen, but you're absolutely right. It definitely can get draining because it's like you never really find solace. Like think about Beyonce. Like let's just put it into terms that everybody knows. Beyonce has been singing and dancing her little heart out since she was a child. Her parents nurtured that gift in her. I'm sure once she got to like about 25, she was like, okay, I've been singing forever. People love my voice. They know I can sing. I've been in a group. We've had success. I've won some awards. I put out my first solo album. I want to do something else. So what does she do? She starts a clothing line. What does her clothing line do? Flop.
Like,
Passionate about fashion. Everybody knows that. Like you can see it in the way that she dresses on the red carpet. You can see it in the looks that she puts together for her tours. She's very passionate about fashion and putting some clothes together. So she could very easily start a clothing line and have it be successful if she really like, if that was really for her. But it's not. So it's like every time she tries to do it, it fails. She did it with House of Darion. She did it with Adidas. She did it with Ivy Park. It's just, it's like, it's something's not sticking. And that's the thing with Virgo energy. It's like, you don't get to do what you want to do and what you're passionate about. You have to do what the world wants from you. And that's it. That's the hard part because everybody gets tired of doing what the world wants from them eventually.
I don't know what the world wants me to do.
You're
Finding my
doing it. You're doing it. The world, I'm sure, wanted you, first of all, to understand that you're a leader. So you're meant to work in your own lane. Even if you're not going to have your own business, you're going to be doing independent contracting things. So I'm going to work for you for this little bit of time, and then I'm going to move on to the next thing. That's one thing that you have observed over and over again. The world wants this from me. You're also very intuitive, naturally speaking. Now, anybody can read tarot cards and memorize the card meanings and give a message based on those card meanings, but it takes a different type of reader to properly intuit messages. And I've seen you do that. You know, not everybody can do that, especially with you being so new to this craft. I've seen you do that, and I've seen people just gravitate towards you, not even for full-blown readings, but just advice, guidance, you know, some structure, like, hey, what should I do about this? How should I go about setting this up? What should I do for this? You know, so it's just like people want that energy from you. They want you to show them how to become the leader in their own lives. Essentially, is what it is. But you're gonna do that in different ways, and you have to figure out which ways are most comfortable and effective for you. Because right now, you're still in the beginning part of it where it's like, okay, I know I can do this because I've seen people do it. I know I can do this because I wanted to do it. It felt right for me. It was easy to learn. But now it's like you have all this information, you haven't had a chance to go out and apply all of it.
Yeah,
But
I feel
when as
stage now I'm applying what I know.
yeah, and as you apply, you'll learn like, this is what I'm gonna do, this is what I'm not gonna do. Like perfect example for me, when I first started doing readings, girl, I just wanted so badly to enhance my psychic gifts that I was just doing readings all day, every day for anybody, everybody. I was in groups. I was doing free readings, collective readings. Like, just if you need a reading,
Just hit my cards. I'm
yes, like I'm on deck. So I was just offering up so much free energy because I wanted to practice, I wanted to hone in my craft. That was cute. It helped me hone in my craft for sure. It helped me a lot. But after a while, it started to become very draining. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. I have to like pull it back some. So then I'm like, okay, I'm not doing free reading posts no more. I'm not doing collective zodiac readings. I only do collective readings for specific astrological events, and that's it. That's a wrap. Other than that, if you're not paying me for one-on-one or coaching, we're not doing it. It was just a boundary that I had to set because I didn't want to be that person that everybody is coming to like, hey, what is the message for Aries for the week? Or like, hey, like, why my nigga still shit? Like, because you're still with him knowing he ain't shit. That's why. Like, so I just had to like, I used to be so open to accepting whatever it is that people needed from me that
like you
I
have,
started,
like I had to, like I got to do this.
Yes.
Yes.
Start doing what you do. And then that puts you into a sticky situation because like I took a risk for this. Like I really stepped out on faith to do this. And now I don't even like it. Like just getting up, making this content every day is making me miserable. Like I don't want to do it. I don't want to shake not another hip on TikTok. Like,
work.
Like, I don't want to do it, So then it puts you into this state where your creativity dies when in all actuality, it's just about spirit putting you into a place where you need to set boundaries with what you're doing and get clear about what your intent is. Because there was a time when my intention was really to just read the world. Like I want to see if you need a reading, I want to read for you. That was my intention. It didn't have no more complex on it than that. Currently, that's not my intention. I don't want to read for the world. I want to actually help people who want to heal, who want to do the work, So now I have to change like my offerings and the things that I'm doing so that people won't expect
prices. It clear, like I literally would have somebody coming to me like I started out with like $5 a reading. This person would come to me like every 3 days. I'm getting a cash app, and they asking the same question. I'm like, you didn't even do the work. And I was like, one day I was like, I think it was Ayana. Somebody, she was like, you have to raise your prices. Your prices, you too accessible. That's why. And once I did that, it started smoothing out. And then I got to a point to where I went through how much I wanted to make, and I'm like, what I'm set with. Like, I don't want anything less than $30 an hour. Like now, right now, I don't want nothing less than $60 an hour because inflation. Like, let's just be real. So now I raised it to where it'll average out that much, but I'm not getting any bookings. I'm like, but I understand now because now I'm in the position to where I'm not even gonna have to work, like not now, but it's coming where I'm not even have to worry about $60,000 a year, or am I doing enough? Like it's just gonna flow how it flows.
Exactly. And I feel like for you, you got to get out of doing one-on-one.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I feel like you're going to be one of those that you're going to do the best when you're leading a group of people at a time.
And I tried that. I tried that. I was in a group. It just went. It's like maybe that experience was for me to experience how I play a role in working with the group, but that how sometimes you'll go through something just to get an idea, but that wasn't what it was supposed to be. Like there is a group for work with, it just wasn't that group. Does it make sense? Like
to be like working with a group, like co-partnering with the group, but you need to be leading the group. Like
I
like
wasn't
doing,
leading, I was just in it.
no, you need to be leading. Like if you're gonna do like conference calls, like for leaders, that's different because it's like everybody has like their own little input and
Mhm.
it's just information going out to the collective. But money wise, I feel like you're gonna make the most money with you being the lead. So like maybe you're hosting a class and 6 people sign up for the class, but you're the only teacher. Or maybe you're hosting like a meditation retreat and there's 3 people and you're the head.
I
And you know,
class. I started a goddess class and nobody signed up. I still have all the information on my laptop. It was decked out for like a 7-week goddess. It was teaching about the chakras and stuff. And nobody signed up. And even though they didn't sign up, I still kept the classes going as if I had somebody so that I can make it a virtual thing. Like, okay, maybe you can't come on the days I set up, but you can just do it online. But I didn't even finish it. It was like, I don't know.
then
Maybe I should go back
then
to.
you should. I'm telling you. Like I've had programs, coaching programs that I've dropped. Nobody purchased it. A few months later, 5 people are signing up and the work is already done for it. And I don't really have to do nothing but show up to the
That's
session.
that's what I needed. So yeah.
So I really think you need to think more about that. Like, I don't know why all of this stuff is coming intuitively to me for these messages, because we is not on here for this, but I'm just telling you what spirit is telling
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening because it's what I need.
Okay, so let me ask you this. How, okay, before I go into astrology, let me ask you this. How would you say tarot has played a part in deepening your spiritual connection? And not in terms of reading other people, but like just building a relationship with tarot for yourself.
For myself, I started off reading it for myself. My only issue, and it was crazy accurate. Like I would do like, how like my son, he has autism and he was nonverbal. So I would use my cards to tell me like how he's doing, how he's feeling. Like he went to daycare, I would do my cards and I would see what is that? Like one of the cards, I can't remember what it was, but it basically told me like he was fussy or he, and it really took my husband to look at it. I said, so look at it, what do you see? And I said, he was like, well, it looks like he was crying right here. He was doing this, he was doing that. And I looked and I was like, you're right. And I would do that while they were in the house and I would do little readings. And literally once I come out of that room and start observing, everything that I pulled from those cards was happening. And I was like, so I just started, what happened was I literally had to take a break from my cards because that's all, every time I wanted to know what was going to happen before it happened. Like I'm shuffling, I would get mixed information because I'm asking the same question, looking for a different result. And that got draining. And I was like, oh, these cards don't like me. So I took a break. I have not, even now, if I do a reading on myself, I get in my head like I'm not reading it correctly. Like I don't went to somewhere negative when it's not even saying that, but I'm like, I don't know how to separate, put me right here and actually do the reading for me.
It's
But
hard sometimes.
when I listen to music, I literally would say a prayer and then I would tell Alexa to play music. And every time the song that I needed to hear, because I'm not in control of it, it will pop up and I'll be like, okay. So maybe I don't need to do my own tarot readings, but I know of ways to get me what I need without that control. Like I feel like I can control the cards because I'm going to look at what I wanted. You know what I mean? Like it could say one thing, but I'm going to see what I want to see. And I'm not going to say I can't, but I haven't mastered how to separate me from me, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. It
Yeah.
takes time. It takes time to get to that point where you're not influencing every single answer. It
Mhm.
does. But it makes sense what you're saying. But the cool thing about tarot is it's like a gateway. Um, it's like a gateway. Like, you know how people be like, weed is a gateway drug. I don't really believe that because weed has never inspired me to do any other drugs. I'm not about that
I don't see it, but
lifestyle. But no,
that's
like, that's it. That's it. I don't need nothing else. But in this particular context, it's like what tarot does is if you really are dedicated to learning it, it helps you tap into your intuition, one, and
yeah,
two, even outside of the cards, it helps you to understand symbolism and synchronicity. So, like things that you didn't notice before, like certain numbers or certain things happening in your dreams or certain colors or songs or whatever the case may be, things that you didn't necessarily pick up on before, like patterns, you start to see those things. And so you can decode those things. And for me, I think that was the coolest part about deepening my connection with tarot outside of being able to see into the future. It was just being able to understand better what's going on beneath the surface, because it really helps you to get out of looking at things with your eyes and start looking at things with your third eye. And at first, it is hard to separate like your ego versus your intuition, because your ego and experience will tell you one thing. Like if a girl comes to me and says, hey, I've been with this guy and he's been cheating on me for the past 3 years, what should I do? My ego and my experience is going to tell her, girl, leave him alone. Why
right.
are you with him? But I might put some cards on it, and the cards might be like, well, this was his last time cheating. He's really getting old and over it. And he want to do right. Now, am I going to tell her just to stick around and wait and see if he do right? Absolutely not. But I will definitely tell her, like, look,
On your
it
step,
seems like he's working on it. Okay. But like me, I'm not gonna say that. Like I'll be like, no, leave him alone. It's a wrap.
me
Once
before.
somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Like
I was
that's
like, hold on, because that's just me. Let me see what these cards say, because
yeah,
baby. And it'll
exactly.
so then it's crazy because when you read it, now you got to tell the person that what you was thinking was your ego because these cards say something else.
Yes, exactly. So that's why you always have to kind of like check in with that, because it's like you don't know in your head, like just I'm telling you, off of ego and experience alone, you'll be telling yourself, like, I know damn well what these cards about to say. Yeah, they come out and it's like, oh, well, okay. Thought I
Yeah.
knew.
And to be honest,
So
you can be wrong. It's just that's not the message. Like that could be very well what it is, but that's not the message of spirit. Like it's something else that they need to learn too or grow through. So you just cutting off their journey just by saying no, but no, they need to experience that so that they can make better decisions or put themselves first and not come to you every time.
right, exactly. So that whole thing is definitely, it's a process. And reading yourself can be difficult. Um, for me, I do readings on myself sometimes, like if I really feel the need to. But I also have my own reader that I go to, or sometimes, like, instead of even consulting divination at all, I'll do automatic writing, and that helps me because it's like I don't feel like there's anything coming into that, and it seems like a clear channel.
Yes.
Um,
I love when I get I don't it's like sometimes I feel like I need to write this out, but I'm not in the energy or the mood to write it out. So it's just still stuck up here. But once it starts flowing, it's like I'm in a trance.
yeah,
It's just coming out.
yep. And before I know it, I'll be writing 3 pages. Like, damn. Okay, let's pivot a little bit from tarot because I want to talk about ancestral connection, relationships, and astrology. So let me ask you this. Does astrology play a strong role in your business or your day-to-day life? And if so, how?
I'm in the beginning stages of astrology because I like when you talk about sixth house, I'll be like, but I really don't know. It's like I know, but I don't know because I have charts that I read and all of that stuff. Um, but if I was to try to tell you, like, I know this, and that, you're gonna be like, girl, no, you don't. You know. But astrology, I do know that it plays a part on how the sun was positioned when you came in. I feel like that's all part of your portal and your that's just my take on it. Like I watched a lot of Marvel shows and how, what is that? Did you watch what is that? He was like a shadow or like a night dream something or something. He had like two personalities or something. It was on It's on Disney. I forgot the name of it. But anyway, they had this machine and he had to turn the stars exactly the way that he came so that he could go through a portal or do something else. And I was like, a lot of movies resonate. I know they'd be like, it's just a movie, but it's like I can see the message. Like that message was for me, or for like I could understand or apply it here, even though I may sound cuckoo.
No, not at all. There's
But
definitely a lot of
it plays like everything is like divine timing. Everything plays I don't feel like there's any coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. So when you are born, I feel like you're entering a portal, and through that portal is where you are starting to begin your journey, and everybody's journey is different. So if your stars or your whatever is aligned, then that gives you like the blueprint or the cheat code, because where you're feeling stuck and you're not getting it from other people. When I read my chart, or when I had my chart read, it was like I understood myself way better because it made sense. Like nobody, for somebody to tell me, I can tell that you probably went to many schools or you were in and out. And I'm like, what? How would you know that just by looking at a chart and you don't know anything about me, So I'm with it. I'm not against astrology. I think it's pretty cool. I just have more to learn about it.
There's nothing wrong with that. Astrology is a beast. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot to learn. But I will say, just for the people on this live that are going to hear this, astrology is a science. That's all it is. It's just a science that tells you what the stars are doing. And it goes deeper than just your birth chart, because the planets continue moving after you're born. So you also want to pay attention to your transits and what's happening now in correlation with what the planets are doing, and where your stuff is housed.
I'm like, wow, already.
It is. It really is. Even like in your relationships, astrology plays a huge part, because people always talk about sun sign, sun sign, sun sign, sun sign, sun sign. When we speak about relationships and compatibility, the sun sign really doesn't matter, because the sun sign is really just your first impression on the world. It's just your personality, what people see when they meet you. But you want to know someone's moon sign. You want to know how they go about processing their emotions. You want to know what's in their third house, how they communicate. You want to know what their Venus is and what their fourth house is, because you want to know how grounded they are within their own heart, and how they love, how they process love, and you can even go far as to talk about Mars in the fifth house, which speaks to sexuality and drive, and how you take action, how you act under stress, if you're upset. So all of these things are just tools for us to be able to better get to know ourselves. But in terms of divination, astrology definitely will take your divination practice to the next level, because it's a little bit more guaranteed in black and white and clear than tarot. Because tarot, get timelines, you can get specific.
I feel like you leveling me up. I'm like, okay.
You can fix and things like that from tarot when you get really good at it. But there's nothing like you coming to me on a random Friday saying, for the past couple of months, I've just been feeling isolated. I'm feeling lonely. Nobody's really hearing what I'm saying. And then I look at your transits and I'm like, well, girl, you're going through a Saturn return, or Venus is currently transiting your sixth house. Like, it's some work that needs to be done within your relationships anyway. Like little things like that, it makes a big difference in terms of divination because it gives people a reason. And when they have a reason why things are happening the way they're happening, for some reason, it just better motivates them to want to take action to change it. But when you just tell them, this is what I see, just because this is what I see and Spirit said this, they will hear you that day. And then 2 days later, they'll be back on the same bullshit. So it just adds like an extra layer of
It gives a time
clarity.
too, because the transits or like they don't last long, however long they last. So it may last a little bit past that, but you understand like this, like where you might feel like it's gonna take forever, like, okay, well, in 30 days, I can start to see if there's changes, or in 2 days, in 3 weeks, or something. So it kind of calms you down a little bit.
Yes, it gives you something to look forward to. So
You're through it, and somebody says, oh, you got 30 days, you're gonna be like, 30 days, 30 more days of this shit.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, but that's one of the things that I really love about astrology. And for me, astrology is really close to my heart because my spiritual journey started with astrology. When I was 17 years old, I was just obsessed. Like before that, I was obsessed with herbalism and natural healing. And, so I was studying a whole bunch of things in that arena. But for some reason, when I was 16, 17, I got into astrology and I just became obsessed. Like everything astrologically based that I could get my hands on and study, I was in it. And then that love for astrology is actually what got me into tarot, because tarot and astrology are very much connected in terms of the system of the planets and the placements and different transits being in the cards. So for me, those two things go hand in hand. I'm not saying they should go hand in hand with every reader, but when you're on a spiritual journey, you need to know what's going on with you astrologically, just for yourself, not even for the benefit of being able to read anyone else, just for yourself. So you can know like where you're at, what's happening, and
Mm-hmm.
what, because some transits might last for 3 weeks to a month. Some transits may last 5 years. So you need to be aware of those types of things so you know like what season you're in. Like if you're in a Saturn return, it's some shit that you just not gonna be able to do. Like,
Am I in the come back or leave or something?
it's like, so that's just my astrology spiel. But
I like
there's another question. There's another question that I asked. I don't know how you'll be able to answer or how much you'll know, but you can just give me what you got.
okay.
So what is your sun, moon, and rising? And how would you say that it affects you the most, first spiritually, and then secondly within your relationships?
Virgo sun, Pisces rising, and the Sagittarius moon.
Ooh, girl.
Everybody says that. I isolate myself a lot, really, because I feel like I have so many emotions at one time. As far as my relationships, I spent a chunk of my life, like I told you in the beginning, I never wanted to be the person that was wrong, or I didn't want to be wrong because when I was wrong, I didn't want to take accountability. I didn't like that feeling of being wrong, and then the feeling of, apologizing for being wrong. It's like I always, like they say, Virgos always want to be right. Like I always want to be right because I don't like what comes behind being wrong. That feeling that I feel, I don't like it. I didn't like to, like I was afraid to fail. Like if it's not right, if it's not perfect, just growing up, like I'm not gonna say I had a strict thing. It was just, I feel like my mom put a lot on me because she was young and she didn't understand. Because I've had a conversation with her and I would be like, okay, so my handwriting, it changes. It can start off one way, but it'll look like somebody else really came in and wrote something else. It's never the same. So me, I'd be like, I got different personalities. I don't know who came in and finished it off. But she would literally make me rewrite the whole thing in that same, and it was impossible to do. So, I would get on punishment. I would get a whooping because it's not perfect. It's not right. So I ain't like whooping. So if I'm very tense, if I feel like I'm gonna get a whooping, because dang. So that, again, like I don't like the feeling of failure. I don't like the feeling of somebody being mad at me. I don't like the feeling of somebody being upset in my presence because I would automatically think that it's my fault. Like, what did I do? Or have to feel like I have to defend myself because you're upset. Like, oh, I did it. Like, so I feel like that played a part in my relationships because I would be in defense most of the time. Like, I'm not hearing what the other person is saying. I'm more focused on protecting me at this point. Like, I feel that you're upset, but now I'm in defense mode because either I don't want to take account. Maybe I had, a part in how you feel and I don't want to take accountability. I don't like saying I'm sorry. I don't mind it now. I'll say I'm sorry. I apologize if I'm in the wrong any moment. But back then, to say I'm sorry would hurt. It literally burned my soul. Like, how your parents be like, now tell her you sorry. But I'm not sorry, especially if I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. Why do I have to say I'm sorry? And if I don't say I'm sorry, I'm gonna get a whooping. And I don't want to whoop it, so now I got to say I'm sorry, and now I got an attitude. So I feel like I did a lot of healing within these three years. But I feel like that played a lot. And then emotion wise, as far as I don't know if that has anything to do with my Pisces. Like I said, I'm about to cry. I didn't like to cry. I felt like cry was a weakness. Like if I got to a point to where I'm crying in an argument, that means that I'm ready to fight you. Like either I'm laughing or I'm crying, but either one is not safe. Not safe for you. So yeah. I didn't want to be that person. So you know how there's always somebody around you who like maybe not healed, but they're in a more healed, like they handle their emotions a little bit better. So if, again, being a person that don't ever want to look flawed or like something is wrong, if I'm around somebody that I look up to, and if they're saying like, hey, you didn't have to blow up like that, or you did, now my feelings are hurt because this person seen me in a way that wasn't right. And at the same time, I don't want to react to this person the way that I react to this person because I have more respect or more love. So then again, I'm still in defense, like, okay, well, I'm not even just gonna talk to you. I'm not even gonna talk to you. I don't want to talk to you till I feel better, and then I'll come around type. And then I think that Sagittarius moon, that fire, that's what, like, I be ready to fight. I'm ready to fight. Like, you say the wrong thing to me, if I tell you to stop talking to me and you keep talking to me, I'm ready to I'm ready to swing on you because why are you still talking to me? I'm mad.
Yeah, you're all three of your sun, moon, rising. It's you're definitely a fighter for sure. Like somebody was to catch you on the wrong day, might be the right day, at the wrong moment. They definitely could catch some hands with those three. I feel like it's just a given because on the Virgo side of things, you're pretty calm and put together because you don't want nobody to see you acting a fool, even though you know that you will act a fool. But then that Pisces emotion comes in And it's like, I don't give a fuck what none of these people think, because at the end of the day, we're all human. And at the point which you had me fucked up, you knew you had me fucked up. So I'm about to act like the fucked up human that you thought I was.
Mhm.
So then the Sagittarius comes in and is affirming the Pisces, like, hell yeah, they got me fucked up. We ride at dawn. Let's go. So I 100% believe that when you say, like, why are you still talking to me? Because the conversation was over at the point at which I said I was right. That was it. That was the end of the conversation. And now you're trying to explain, and you're trying to prove yourself right, trying to prove me wrong. I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear none of that. Do you want to catch these hands or not? Otherwise, the conversation is over. That's it. It's a wrap. So I get it. I can totally see that with those three for
You know,
sure.
part about that is at some point, like the person could really be right, but now I'm pissed. Like once I get all the information, now I'm pissed because I feel like I overreacted and now I gotta go apologize.
Yeah, and now you're embarrassed, and you're not going to go apologize and be embarrassed peacefully.
Yeah.
No. Now I'm going to pick something up, because at the end of the day, you was wrong and you had me fucked up even though you was right. Period. Like that is some that
X, Y, and Z. That's what really got me fucked up. So we finna start focusing on that now.
yes, absolutely. Like I can totally see that. That is hilarious. Yeah, you got some a dramatic three for sure. I'm sure you be in your own head like, girl,
I,
chill out.
the people be feeling like, oh, man, you smoke. Honestly, I don't have to smoke weed all the time. But if my mind is doing this, that means I need to get in this space. Like weed helps me ground. Like they say, go outside, put your feet in the grass. Yes, that works. But if my head is still spinning, my head gonna be spinning while my feet in the ground. Like I'm not zen. But weed puts me in, it's like I could feel my higher self saying, girl, now listen, this is really what's up. Like you was really doing too much. This XYZ. Just chill, just calm, just observe. Yes, you're right. You could be right. Intuitively, you feel it and you feel like people playing in your face, but just, you know what I'm saying? Let them hang themselves. Like you don't have to be so much. You could just chill. And I it took me forever to chill. Like I just learned how to just
Chill. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, some of this you've already answered while we've been talking unknowingly. So let me ask you this. What is some advice you might give to either a younger version of yourself, or just someone who's new in enhancing their spiritual gifts and connecting with their ancestors? Like, what would you say to them about how to go about the process of bridging that gap of connection to spirit?
I would say spend time alone. Honestly, that's been my being able to listen to myself. Again, I've been somebody again that don't want to make mistakes, so I took advice from everybody. If I made a move, I couldn't make a move without calling my mom, calling this person, seeing when they have to stay. And then the biggest conflict is because this person said do this, but this person said do this, and you look up to both people. However, you don't want to disappoint. Like, dang, I got to make a decision. Like, it's cool if everybody on the same page. Like, cool, yes, I should do this. But if you do what this person said and this person said do something else, then I have to go, well, I listen, you listen to it, like that would be the biggest thing. But once I tuned all of that out and start going within and listening to myself, it's been a breeze. And also being patient and understanding that you're not going to have the answers all at once. It's an experience. So just let yourself experience, and the experience is not going to be fun all the time. It's really sometimes it just sucks, but it's a part of the growth. Like people that go get surgery, you go get a BBL, yeah, you might look good afterwards, but that process and healing sucks. Like you got to go through it, and people go through their healing in different ways, or it manifests in different ways. So just
Right.
shoots and love, self-love. You had a bad day. I've been so big on self-love. If somebody I look for any excuse to do something nice for myself. If somebody made me mad, I'm gonna go treat myself to something. I'm gonna go take a bath. If something didn't work out the way, I'm gonna go give me some flowers. That's how I found my balance. I have to do something nice for me. I gotta take a cute selfie. I gotta get cute. So definitely finding balance and not trying to make if it pleases you. Like I tell people, if I post something on TikTok, I used to care what people think or had to say. But now, for example, my auntie made a post of me singing, and the girl that sings, she sings beautifully. My problem is I feel as though I sound beautiful, and I don't care what nobody else think. I don't care if they think it sounds bad. If I hear it or if I see me, I'm so in me. It's like I'm the Beyonce of my life. Like I'm so fascinated with me. If I like it, I don't care what you think. I don't care. I love it.
Period.
So it is what it is. So I love that for me because I've been insecure so long. Like I've always thought highly of myself, but you have people to come in, girl, you ain't this and that, you need to calm down. You making me feel like being self-absorbed was a problem. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not downing anybody. I'm not saying somebody look ugly or I look better than anybody. I'm just saying I'm that girl, even as a child. But I feel like people always try to humble me or bring up a flaw. So now I embrace my flaws. It is what it is. I got a big forehead. I lean. I have scoliosis. I'm still that girl. Like,
Period. I love that. I love that. As you should. You should always big yourself up. I feel like that's the huge problem with our generation. It's just like everybody wants to compare themselves to everybody else and wants to like, it's just too many comparisons and distractions and not enough focus on self. When you put in focus on self and you big yourself up, it's like you don't have time to even pay attention to other people. And when other people do try to talk down on you, you're so grounded in who you are that you're unaffected by it. So I'm glad you said that. That is definitely a gem. What is some advice that you would give for staying focused and committed when trying to run a spiritual business? Because let's be for real, let's just talk realistically for us. Running a spiritual it's not, it's not running a spiritual business at all. It definitely has its ups and downs, but more than anything, I feel like a lot of the work that we do as spiritualists goes unrewarded, unnoticed, it's like the writer of the song never gets any credit. They get paid for their contribution, but they don't get the real credit. The artist that's singing the song gets all the credit. So it's like that when you have a spiritual business. It's like people will come into contact with you and their life will change for the better. And they'll make all these changes and they'll be uplifted and empowered. And they will shout you out sometimes. They'll be like, oh my God, I did work with so-and-so and it was beautiful. And this is how I got here. But the people that are seeing them say that, they're not thinking about you. They're just seeing this glow up. Or even like when people come to you and ask spiritual questions and they're not offering you anything, they just want information.
Man, I hate that so much. And it's frustrating, especially when you need money.
Yeah. Like, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. I'm a Capricorn too. I'll be telling them like, look, this is my cash app. Like, there's a lot that goes on, I think, with spiritualists that we don't really talk about because we want to be good beacons of customer service. Well, at least I do. But on the other side of that,
you don't
it's just
make
like
it about the money, but at the same time, you got to live too. I mean, if you say if you're gonna take coins like $5, that's what they're gonna give you. So I was like,
no.
I focus on me. At this point, I feel like I was supposed to go through that because I needed to build this person that I am now. If I didn't go through that, then I would still be up dawn at the crack of 6 a.m. or whatever time, shuffling cards and And I was like, that's cool sometime, but
I don't do it. I get it. So like, what would you say to somebody coming in who, maybe it's their first year in, and they're just having a hard time. Like they're having a hard time getting clients. They're having a hard time with people taking advantage of their energy. They're feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes like they have some imposter syndrome that, maybe they don't know that everything that they think they know, maybe they're not cut out to do this. Like, what would you tell them about just staying focused and committed?
I would tell them, everything happens for a reason. If you feel drawn to something, even people who that's doing it as a trend, what may be started out as a trend, when you tapping in with spirit, when you playing with spirit, you gonna change some type of way, whether it's good or bad. However, you tapping into it, it's still going to mold. So you have to be able to set boundaries and being standing firm on your boundaries. You can't be a pushover. You also have to have a strong faith with God, because if God sent you, put you in that position, you have to stand on. You can't be like, oh, well, God, I don't want to, like, no, God put me, for the longest, the reason why I feel like I'm going through this is because I didn't want to upset God, when God was like, no, set these boundaries, take these breaks, do this healing. If you don't do it, I'm going to do it for you. And it gets to a point to where you really want to do it on your own, because you don't want to, you don't want to see him about what he gonna do. He gonna let you figure it out on your own. If you don't, then he gonna push you. So it again comes with a lot of patience and staying grounded, and also cutting out distractions and people. If you got people in your circle that's, I've been told, oh, I wish I had a gimmick like that, or these people just, you like stuff, you don't want them people. You have to literally cut them people off, because they are sending negative energy your way. It's jealousy for one, it's evil eye, because there's something that maybe they thought about doing, or wish they had the courage to not even do that, but do something other than what they're doing on every day. So I would say really the biggest thing is your connection to God or source or whoever. I don't care if it's the unicorn. If you feel like the unicorn created all of us, build that connection and stand strong in it, because if you don't believe in something, you'll believe in anything, and you will let people just run all over you. So having that foundation with God, and then running, because an entrepreneur cannot run a business without faith. I don't care if you believe in the devil or God, you got faith in something that's going to get you through, to get you where you're going. So if you don't have faith in God, then you don't have faith in yourself. But you really need to go within and have faith in yourself, because that way, that's what, when they say build a foundation, that's the foundation within your spirit. Because like I said, I know I can literally go without anything and I'm gonna still be good. So as long as you have that faith and that foundation, everything is going to start stacking on top, and it's going to work out. Even like you said, I'm in a position to where I have to work, or even this is a collaboration. So just trusting the process, going with the flow, and know that it's a journey. So documenting, because this is how you start your story. Like, I have a story to tell. At first I didn't have a story to tell. It was like, oh, I was working at this company, and then I got in. Like, now I have a real story of how I healed, the tools that I used, how I did it, how I felt when I did it, when I went through it, how long it took. Like, I have a story to tell. And your story is not going to look like everybody else. Just because Felicia did XYZ and got here, sometimes it takes people longer than others. And depending on yours, like you said, your charts, or whereas you might have spent all these years doing this, or been feeling like you at the bottom, but when it's your moment, it's like, what's the Glorilla? It feel like it's overnight. Like, dang, I've been going through this for so long, and then all of a sudden I'm here. And it didn't take that long. So don't try to, okay, well, this person, they did this, and then overnight they became a millionaire. And I know that, like, that's not, you can become a millionaire, but her story is not my story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have my own story, but she's showing that it is possible to do what you set out to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. That was good. That was really good
Yeah.
advice. Everybody really needs to hear that for sure. I know there's been days when I needed to hear that for sure, because it's just like, you can't compare, first of all. You do have to maintain your faith, second of all. Whatever you want to believe in, that's up to you, but you do have to maintain your faith. But the last thing is just, you said, I went through this process of healing. I applied these things and it worked for me. So I have a story to tell. I feel like that's the part that a lot of people miss. Everybody wants to be spiritual now because it's trendy. And you will pick up spiritual trends and actually gain spiritual knowledge. But what you can't do when you take on spirituality as a trend is really go through the trenches, because you don't even realize what you're doing. You have to be
Mhm.
intentional with those trenches. You have to be intentional about doing that shadow work. You got to be intentional about learning how to integrate your shadows instead of trying to banish them all the time. You got to be
Mhm.
intentional about the darkness and the light. And that's a process, so I feel like the fact that you have a story to tell about how you did that and how it aligned you, um, so much better with your purpose, with love, with your children, with your family, with friends, with people that you needed to come into contact with, even though it was like a gradual process of that happening,
Mhm.
worked miracles in your life, whereas things that you saw for yourself 3 years ago, it's completely different than what you see today, you know?
Yes.
And so you have something to share and something to put out. And it's like, I just be so tired of people that don't have no story, don't have no testimony, haven't done
Just
no
seem like,
work to
but let me
just
read the
like,
comments. Mm-mm-mm.
yes, no, you cannot. Like, no, I don't want to talk to you. Like, you don't even know, like, what?
Now you tapping in my energy, putting stuff in there. Like, no, don't do that.
Like, what? That's like the part right there. It's like building the story. That's what your spiritual journey is about. Now, it's gonna look different for everybody, like you said. Like, not everybody wants to be a spiritual business owner. Some people are just going on a spiritual journey, right? But
Mhm.
this series is about spiritual business owners. So, that's really big for me. Like, I just feel like you need to build your story. You need to build your own funnel of healing. You need to be able to apply these things that you're asking people to support you in. You can't just be out here telling people that you're going to change their lives and empower them and you're going to guide them and you don't even know what you're doing. Like, you don't
Like,
even
you can
know
even
if,
empower yourself. I'm big on I practice what I preach. Like, I'm not gonna tell anybody to do anything that I haven't done or even thought about or considered doing. So is I call myself, like I said, I'm a walking brand. Universe Magic by Keidra Sade, that's me. And I think that's part of Beyonce's thing. Beyonce is her brand. That's her, and that's how she makes her money. So I'm like, sis is showing me like I'm me.
yeah, all you need. It's just you know. You are the brand, you are the product, you are the magic, all
Yeah.
on your own. So, it just takes time to realize that. But I really like how you put that. I feel like a lot of people need to hear that because they just feel like you can just like it's just so easy to take advantage of people. And I did another
Mhm.
spiritual session earlier today, and we were talking about how people are just fraudulent and like misinforming people
Yeah,
and just stuff like just for gain, and they don't realize the spiritual consequences that come along with that. And it's really sad to see
it
like in
is.
real time.
And
So
that was another thing I struggle with, imposter syndrome. Because when I started doing tarot, I wanted to do everything like rituals. I want to do this, I want to do that, I can do this, I can do that. And I don't even do, I haven't done rituals since I want to say last, it was just something said that this ain't for me. Like, it was just that last one I did, only one person joined, and it wasn't a bad experience. It was good. I got a lot of enlightenment. I wrote down stuff for me, and I did it for me and this other girl, and we're both on the same like healing thing. Like, we literally text each other every time we see synchronicities, 333 444. Like, so I'll be telling her, like, we in this together. I'm a Scorpio Venus and she's Scorpio, and I feel like we're connected somehow. Like, she always tell me I'm her person. So, but she doesn't call me for anything. Like, I'm literally like her spiritual, like, I don't do anything really for her, but I'm there if, she want to talk, or it's just a spiritual thing. So, I had one of them brain freezes because I forgot what I was talking about just then.
It happened.
That happens.
It happened. Yeah.
So
I'm
it's just,
sure you're talking about imposter syndrome.
yes. So I stopped doing it because I listened to this lady on TikTok. Her name is A Touch of Badu. I don't know if you heard of her or not, but she's been touching on so much stuff, and she was saying, like, she was talking about rituals, and I had already stopped doing it. So it's not like somebody said something and like, oh no, I don't want to do it no more. I was already feeling that I'm not against rituals, or, what do you call it? There's another word for it, but because I still do it. Like, I still carve like affirmations and stuff in candles, and I light them. It's just doing it for other people and charging them. I would rather show you how to do it so that you can do it yourself versus me taking money and then carving and do. I don't like it. And I guess me being an earth sign, all those candles and melting and putting them in jars, they don't feel earth friendly to me. not to anybody.
I get it. That's never been my thing. Like, and I was just talking about this too in the previous session about how I just feel like it's a little bit fraudulent when people do these big group rituals and it's like 777 for da 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 da, or whatever the case is, and
Not to
people
step on
join.
anybody's toes, because it was a learning thing. I'm a type of person, if I learn something, I want to do it, I want to do it. But now I'm in the state to where I'm my own person. And if it doesn't feel right, then it's not for me. But that doesn't mean, like, I mean, it may work. People get confirmation,
Yeah.
but it's not for me.
More than anything, just because I do know magic, I think what the reason why it does sometimes work, and I'm still not gonna do it because it doesn't feel right in my spirit to participate in it, but it's like tithing. Like, if you give a little bit of money to the church, you get a blessing the next week, you're gonna automatically assume like,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
in church, got my little blessing, So it's like when you send those people money for those rituals, it's like the same thing. Like, they might not even be doing anything on the other side, but because
That's the hard part, because, like, people sending me this thing, and I'm like, I don't even feel like doing it. Now I gotta go and do all this, and I don't want to be fraud, so I gotta do the work because they wouldn't sit right that I took these people money and did nothing. But I had to stop.
yeah.
I was like, no more. I don't want it. I don't want to do this anymore.
And then on top of that, like, rituals are not like a one-time, one and done thing.
Right.
So like, even
And
follow up on.
to whom as much is required. So you're putting out this, and people are paying you, but what is that taking from you, like, energetically? And
Exactly.
after I would do them, I would be so tired, like I had to sleep the whole day. And so I know something is happening, but is that what I want? Like, no. But then I
No.
learned Reiki. I learned Reiki, and they say, like, you don't want to pull your energy, you want to pull it from the universe. But even still, the universe still wants their payback. What happened? I think I found that.